Hey guys, Alex here. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I will be doing a review on the reservation process of different developers. So the purpose of this video is to help out new agents or brokers who are just starting in this industry so they will become familiar with the processes of the different developers, and also for developers themselves so they can compare their process with the process of other developers and improve from there. As we know, speed is critical to sales, so we need to do things quickly to get things done. If it takes too long, then clients will start having second thoughts and may back out. So before I dive in, quick disclaimer, I'm not doing this to throw shade on any developer. Rather, this is my honest feedback of these developers' reservation processes based on my personal experience in selling their projects and also on the experiences of other top-selling real estate agents as well. And by top-selling agents, I mean agents doing this full-time and selling an average of between 10 to 30 million per month, sometimes more. So I really asked seasoned top agents as well, so I could compare their feedback with mine in this video. So first developer is A Brown. Now to reserve a unit in any project of A Brown, you just need to pay the reservation fee, and then the other documents can be submitted after. So you can pay the reservation fee via cash or check, or do online transfer. They have a lot of bank accounts. You can just choose which one you want to transfer the reservation fee to. So usually, my clients do online transfer. This was how I was able to reserve multiple units in Teakwood Crest when it launched. So I was able to reserve 11 units within the span of 2 weeks because I was facilitating the transfer of the reservation fees of my clients first to book their units because the units were selling out so fast. So we had to move fast as well. And then the reservation documents I submitted to the developer within the day. The reservation requirements that they need are filled up buyer's info sheet, 2 valid IDs with specimen signature, and of course the reservation fee. So this is what their BIS looks like. BIS again stands for buyer's info sheet. So the entire process can be done online as you can email all the requirements. And their marketing team, Sir Butch, Miss Faith, Christian, and the rest of the team is also very responsive. So that really helps a lot in making things smooth and making the experience hassle-free for the client. So all in all, it takes me around 30 minutes to 1 hour to reserve a unit. I just wait for my client to send me the proof of fund transfer to any of A Brown's bank accounts, and then I forward it to the marketing department and the unit is reserved. Second developer is Pueblo de Oro. So they have a similar reservation process to A Brown, although now they are a bit tighter with the reservation process because before you could just pay the reservation fee and do following other documents. But now you need to submit the buyer's info sheet, 2 valid IDs with 3 specimen signatures first, and then pay the reservation fee also. So during around the same time. So this is how their buyer's info sheet looks like. All in all, it also takes me between 30 minutes to 1 hour to reserve a unit with Pueblo de Oro, so very fast lang. Again, I wait for my clients to send me the proof of fund transfer and then I forward it to Pueblo and then the unit is reserved. So their marketing head is also very accommodating and replies fast, and that's such a huge help to us as sellers. And then third developer is Cebulan Masters. Now with CLI, they have more reservation requirements because aside from the 2 valid IDs with 3 specimen signature and filled up BIS, which are the 2 standard requirements of other developers, you also need to submit verified TIN and proof of income. So either payslips or certificate of employment or ITR, depending on the client's source of income. You will also need to submit the client's marriage contract if married, and their birth certificate. Now, if they don't have a TIN verification slip, you can get one at BIR, or they will also accept any TIN ID or any BIR document reflecting their TIN. So unlike A Brown, you cannot pay first. You have to submit all these requirements first, and then the marketing team will review it. And then once verified that the requirements are complete and all the information is in order, they will then send you an email asking you to pay or deposit the payment at their designated bank account. Or you can also pay in cash or check at their office. So for me, I usually do online transfers because it's more convenient that way. This way, I don't have to wait in line or spend time commuting. So it's just more efficient. So this is what their BAS looks like. They actually revised it now, and I like how it looks now better than their previous one because it's more aesthetically pleasing, and because of that, it's easier to fill up. So my favorite BIS is this one because of how it looks and how the data is organized. It looks sleek, simple, and clean. And since their projects are really selling fast, they sell out projects in days, or months. And whenever they have a new project, I usually ask my clients to comply with the reservation requirements in advance so that once they launch, sasubmit ko na lang. Like, all I need to do is to ask them for the reservation fee. So that's like one tip, especially for those who are new sellers. You can actually comply for the reservation fee in advance because if the buyer's really interested, they will really take the effort to do it in advance. So that once the project launches, pipili na lang sila ng unit and then they'll just pay the reservation fee. Kompleto na yung the rest of the reservation requirements. So all in all, it takes me between 2 to 3 days to reserve because I have to comply with the other requirements before the client can pay the reservation fee. When it comes to their staff naman, walang problema talaga with CLI. Their marketing is very fast, efficient, and very accommodating. Trudas, their sales manager, is really very fast and efficient and such a huge help to us as sellers. She really goes the extra mile to make sure that we have what we need to close those sales, and also may pressure din involved. Okay, submit mo na yung requirements mo kasi this is gonna get sold na. So, very, very good saleswoman talaga. And then the fourth developer is Ayala. They have similar reservation process and requirements with across all their brands, be it Ayala Land Premier, Alveo, Avida Amaya, or Bella Vita. So there are 5 brands under Ayala. And you need to submit the filled up buyer's info sheet, 2 valid IDs with 3 specimen signatures first, and then they will review it. And then once approved, you can then proceed with paying the reservation fee by the then online transfer. So this is what their BIS looks like. All in all, it takes me 1 day to reserve with Avida. The 5th developer is SMDC, so they are the newest developer in town, and the reservation process is very different. With the previous developers I mentioned, they do priority selling. This means that the first buyer to submit all the requirements and pay the reservation fee gets the unit. But with SMDC, each realty needs to have a sales portal wherein upon the opening of the project or the launching of the project, you need to click on your preferred units to hold those units. So mabilisan talaga. The units that you then put on hold, you must reserve to your buyers. Once you've put your desired units on hold, you have 4 days to pay the reservation fee and submit the requirements. So basically, the requirements are BIS and 2 valid IDs then. So if you fail to reserve it, then you get a 1,000 peso fine or penalty per unreserved unit that you put on hold. So if your units don't get reserved, if may walang na-reserve ng clients mo, then it will just get reopened and other realties will have the opportunity to again place those units on hold and reserve those units. So this is how their BIS looks like. So this is the same process they use for all their projects in the Philippines. The challenge that we have experienced though for Villa Residences was the project was so in demand, we couldn't hold the units that some of our clients wanted because pag open pa lang namin sa sales portal, sold out na kaagad within 30 minutes. All the units got put on hold within that time span. So the sales portal was also a bit hard for us to navigate at first because it was really new to us and we didn't really get any training. But eventually we got the hang of it, and yung sales director and assistant sales director nila was very accommodating naman to us. So it's all good. But for me, I still prefer priority selling because it's faster and also, I think, more fair to the clients as well. Also, their sales portal is not really that easy to use. Parang medyo may barrier pa to entry, but of course, you can learn it naman. And it's very important that you have high-speed internet connection kasi magka-crash siya kung hindi high-speed yung connection mo. Also, if fast selling yung project, paunahan talaga ng hold ng unit. So it was hard for us to get the specific units na gusto ng clients. Because pag open pa lang ng portal, yung mga prime units na put on hold na kaagad, yung mga hot units like the ones facing Makahalar or the ones facing amenities area. So again, it really was very helpful to us na hindi familiar sa process ng SMDC because the sales director and assistant sales director were very accommodating and proactive and was really responsive to our questions. Yun nga lang, nahirapan talaga kami at first to adapt to their process since we were unprepared to do so. And the sales portal was new to us. So all in all, it takes around 2 days for me to reserve with SMDC. And then the fifth developer is WeCom. So like SMDC, WeCom is also a new player in the CDO market. So their reservation requirements are similar to other developers, buyer's info sheet, 2 valid IDs with 3 specimen signatures. So this is how their BIS looks like. So aside from this, they have 3 additional forms that the buyers need to fill up and sign. And then you have to comply with all these requirements first, and you have to fully complete the forms first before they will accept payment of the reservation fee. Compared to the other developers, WeCom has the longest reservation process. It usually takes me like 1 to 2 weeks to reserve. And that's because although they have similar requirements, they have more forms to fill up. And if there's one thing that needs to be edited sa forms, their marketing department will forward the forms back to us. We need to edit it and then ibabalik na naman. So it's a lot of back and forth before we can pay for the reservation fee. I also noticed that they have a longer buyer's info sheet compared to other developers. They ask for more information. Another thing that causes delays is that they require at least 1 PHID, which some OFWs no longer have. So because they've been living abroad for so long, some no longer have a Philippine ID. May passport sila but expired na. So if you submit like foreign IDs, they don't accept this as well, which really causes additional delays in reservation. So yeah, I hope WeCom can really find up ways to speed up the reservation process, because when it comes to sales, speed is really important. Delays can give clients time to have doubts and change their minds. Of course, I understand naman that having complete info is important, but perhaps, we can balance it out by moving some of those requirements to booking requirements instead so that we can do the reservation process faster. So all in all, it takes me 1 to 2 weeks to reserve with WeCom Magnum. And then the 6th developer is John Dorf. So they're also one of the oldest developers here in Cagayan de Oro. They started in Iligan and now they have projects in CDO and Cebu and Davao. So they also have the same basic requirements like BIS, 2 valid IDs, but they have additional requirements like proof of income. So you will need to submit like a Payslip or ITR or FS. So Payslip if employed, or ITR or FS if business owner. And this really causes like additional delays because proof of income is challenging to like come up with like instantaneously, because clients usually don't have this on hand. Unlike, IDs or birth certificate, you usually already have a copy of these documents. Pero Payslip, nobody goes around bringing their Payslip, right, or ITR. So it's hard for me to reserve fast as well with John Dorf because of these particular requirements. Like WeCom and CLI, they also don't accept payment or reservation fee unless all the documents are complete. So I understand naman that they're doing this to make sure that the client is capable of paying, but yeah, I hope for the client's sake that they kind of move this requirement to booking instead of reservation. Because for us brokers naman, like at least for me, I don't let a client reserve if he's not capable of paying. Because how will he sustain if kulang naman talaga yung income niya? So it's our responsibility as agents, as brokers, to really screen our clients to make sure that the client will really be able to see it through. To make sure na capable talaga yung client of paying for not only the equity but also the monthly amortization after pag na loan takeout na yung kanyang unit. So let's make sure that we qualify our buyers first, because it's really the buyer who will lose out in the end if we allow them to reserve and they can't sustain it. So again, speed is critical to closing. If the client likes the unit, they should be given the opportunity to reserve it on the spot. If they have to wait like 1 to 2 weeks because they need to request for Payslip from their HR or ITR from their bookkeeper, then we're gonna lose the sale. Or usually, what I know is my other agents na kilala ko, they just transfer it to other developers na lang that can reserve faster. So the time it takes to reserve with JVC, it really depends. It depends on how fast the buyer can produce proof of income. Usually, since they need to request from the HR for these documents, around 5 to 7 days or over a week. And then 7th developer is IDC, Abark Gold, Camellia, Field Invest. So silang lahat na. Parang 4 developers in one na to since they have similar reservation requirements. So you just need to submit the reservation requirements like As usual, 2 valid IDs with 3 specimen signature, filled up BIS, and of course, the reservation fee, and reserved ka na. All in all, for these 4 developers, it takes me half a day to reserve my clients to any of their projects. So in summary, the fastest developers to reserve with are A. Brown and Pablo. The longest is Wecom and John Dorf. And by the way, this is not my own experience alone, as I've also asked my colleagues, as I mentioned, top sellers who do like 10 to 30 million per month consistently, sometimes more, as to like who's the slowest and fastest developer in terms of reservation. And we had like the exact same answers. So again, speed is very critical to closing, because if you're too slow in taking care of your customer, your competitor will. So now it's time for me to ask my colleagues, what was your experiences with the reservation process of the different developers that I mentioned? Please share it in the comment section below, and I'll see you in my next video.